Hi guys, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel, Guy with a Plant. In today's episode, I'm going to repot two philodendrons and at the same time give them a moss pour. As they're still pretty juvenile, it's good to give it a head start to establish themselves on the pole, so that as they latches on the pole, they'll be able to stabilize and grow much bigger leaves as they mature. Okay, before I repot the plants, I'm going to make a simple moss pole for one of the philodendrons. So what I have here are this mesh. I'm not sure what material is this, but ideally I should be using a one with much bigger holes, so that more moss will be exposed for the aerial roots to attach themselves to. But this is all I have, so I'm just going to use this. Next is of course sphagnum moss. They may not be enough, I'm not sure, but just in case if it's not enough, I have some cocoa chips on standby, just to add as fillers. And lastly, I have this fasteners to tie, or these cable ties to tie up the pole. Okay, I'm just going to cut up the mesh first. I don't need a lot because it's just going to be a very skinny pole. I don't need to be too thick. Okay, I think the moss is enough, so I'm not going to use the cocoa chips. Just going to roll it. Make sure it's quite tight before I fasten the pole. Okay, just going to use one of the cable ties. Okay, now I can snip off the excess parts. So there you have it, a simple moss pole. Not the prettiest, but I think this will do. This is one of the philodendrons. This is Philodendron sodiroi. As you can see, this is a very bushy specimen, but still very juvenile. The leaves are very small. It looks as if there are 3 stalks here, but I think it is probably a single plant. I'm not sure, but I will unpot this later and we shall take a closer look. So far, this is a very pretty easy philodendron. Hasn't given me any yellowing leaves or any crispy edges, and it's always putting out a new leaf. So you can see this one is unfolding, and all this the lighter green ones are the newer leaves. Okay, this is a new leaf. This is a new leaf. As you can see, there are many nodes along the stem, so I can actually easily cut in between the nodes and propagate it. But as you can see, it is starting to tip over, so it's really time to support it with a pole. Okay, the next philodendron has also sodiroi in its parentage. This is actually a hybrid philodendron. This is Philodendron majestic. It is a hybrid between Philodendron sodiroi and Philodendron verrucosum. And just look at this newest leaf with all these silvery splashes. And I really love the texture as well. It's very pillowy. It was a 2-leaf specimen when I first got it. This was one of the original leaves still hanging on, but it's yellowing a bit at the tip. Original leaf was the biggest leaf. I think it was almost 30 cm. But unfortunately that didn't make it. It turned yellow and dropped off 1 or 2 months after. And there's a new growth point here. This hybrid is supposed to be easier than its original parent plants. So I hope this will grow vigorously under my care. Just check out the Instagram of Sydney Plant Guy. He has stick up a lot of his plants and they have all grown tall and put out really beautiful, gorgeous leaves. To be honest, I'm a little bit worried about repotting these two at this point because I did the same to a Philodendron splendid. I stick it up, but it proceeded to lose all its leaf after a while. And yeah, it struggled a bit, but it's not giving out a new growth point. So I think it is still trying to adjust to the repotting. It is currently growing in this very gritty, loose potting medium. So I have been watering this very frequently, almost every 2-3 days. I'm going to use this pre-mixed aeroid mix, which consists of bark, perlite, cocoa chips, as well as pumice. Okay, let's do the sodiroi first. Let's remove it from the pot and take a look at the roots. I'm probably going to recycle this potting medium. Ooh. The roots, let's take a look. Very good root ball. Let me check for any if there's any rot. Okay, so it's not 3 branches, it's just a single, just a single plant. But I think it has a branch out 3 ways, so it looks as if there are 3 separate plants. The roots are actually pretty fine. Okay, the good news is there is no root rot. Okay, I think that's enough. It doesn't have to be totally clean. Okay, for the sodiroi, I'm going to use this plastic container, this plastic pot with a lot of good drainage along the sides. I think this is an orchid pot. I'm not sure, but I bought it online, so I think this will be pretty good for a philodendron. And also I'm going to use this plastic pole, which you can actually fill up with medium of your choice. It can be sphagnum moss, it can be other potting medium, which I'm going to use the same potting medium as the pot. So it's going to be that aeroid mix. There are giant holes at the base of this pot, so I'm going to use this mesh to prevent the potting medium from escaping. Okay, I'm going to put the pole at the edge of the pot and fill it up with the potting mix. Okay, the pole is totally filled up. Okay, let's put the plant in. and add more of the potting medium. And I'm going to add some slow release fertilizer. This is a Nutri-Coat. And we're done. Okay, philodendron number 2. Let's remove this majestic from its pot. See, there's a lot of chunky pumice and horticultural charcoal in this pot. Whoa. Okay, the roots are thicker than the sodiroi. I would say that it is already a little bit root bound. So I'm glad I'm repotting this now. Okay, I don't think I need to remove much of this current potting medium from the roots. Look at this current potting medium. It is really very chunky. Look at this. Is this pumice? And there is a lot of charcoal. Okay, for the majestic, I'm going to use this terracotta pot. Again, I'm going to recycle the current potting medium. Okay, and I'm going to use this moss pole, this DIY moss pole that I made. So again, I'm going to put in some slow release fertilizers. And also to tie the plant to the pole. Got to be careful not to touch the new leaf that is coming out. I like this brown string, which I think is made of jute. Looks really natural compared to those green Velcro type. Okay, the majestic is done. Okay, I'm just going to give them some water. Just going to wet the pole in the potting medium. Alright, so this mini project of sticking up my philodendrons is completed. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and if you like contents like that, do subscribe to my channel and I shall see you again in the next episode. Meanwhile, stay safe and remember to show your plants some love.